Hello, I am the Goldsmith. It is the 25th of March, 2025, and we are looking at a Sparklet Warz Season 2 Day 5 recap. Again, this is the fifth day of Sparklet Warz Season 2. We've had a few things go on in between the first day, the start of the Sparklet Warz Season 2, and today. We have a few things to go over, and first and foremost, the name of the game. The name of the game is bonus as far as day 5 is concerned. High value zones specifically, so an increased score based on activity in specific neighborhoods. We can talk about the benefit of that a little bit, but there is going to be a flip side to that for day 6. We'll go over that, some reminders there. We continue to see the point tallies continue to grow for individual point scores. And of course, we continue to see the teams that are being successful continue to be successful. We see a little bit of a margin growth between the team in first place and the team in second place, but there is a potential for a change tomorrow, and that is that the point totals change from day 5 to day 6, so the way they're calculated as far as what percentage of the points calculate, and the high value bonus versus the radiation fallout deficit is going to play a role in who's getting what points, because there are some superstructures at play that added a lot of points today for a specific team that maybe not add as many points tomorrow when the bonuses aren't there. Instead, there's a penalty applied. So we'll get into the details there. Nothing too major, but we do want to get a disclaimer out of the way before we get there. All views and opinions expressed by myself, they should not be taken as game strategy or financial advice. There was a game of the team of the upland. Any guest gratuitous we do have on, any opinions they do represent, they do not represent myself, the Goldsmith, the Cafe Nightly Show, the team of Upland, the game of Upland, and should be taken as game strategy or financial advice. So let's start looking at a couple things. Again, like I said, the name of the game for day number 5 of Sparklet Warz Season 2 was high value zones. The idea of bonuses depending on being in the right or having the points generated in the right neighborhoods. Las Vegas is the city where the Warz are going down this season. However, it is the matter of day-to-day having a little bit of effect here. Upland did talk about there being some bonuses and potential penalties applied during the season, and that's what we saw here in day 5. We did have a 24-hour period with 2 times the points for points accumulated in downtown and Arts District. We'll keep in mind that it is done during a snapshot, but the points were increased for that period of time, that snapshot. This is specifically happening between Monday and Tuesday. So that snapshot happening the 25th at 9 a.m. PT is when the snapshot happened, but that's when those points were boosted by 50% for any points that would be earned in the downtown and Arts District. And there's a couple things about that. A, if you have a superstructure, that superstructure is going to be there in day 5. It's going to be there in day 6. If you have structure ornaments, if you have cannons and you have chests that are protecting those and they have their own points that they are earning or they're helping you to earn points, you can move all those. You can move all those out of those districts. But if you've already built superstructures before this was announced, before the bonus was announced, the high value zones were announced, then you got benefit. You got a benefit of having them in the high value zones, those superstructures. But now you're going to have a deficit in day 6. We'll go and remind ourselves what that looks like moving into tomorrow. Day 6, essentially the same deficit. But the one thing to keep in mind is it is actually a little bit of a larger deficit. And the reason why it's a larger deficit is the percent total that you are going to be accumulating from your overall score towards your team score or towards the true overall score being applied to the long-term score in the game. That is going to go from 50% of that overall score to 75%, meaning what happens on day 6 is going to count more, or 50% more, than what happened on day 5. Keep in mind, the teams that had the map assets and had structural ornaments in the high value zones today can move those out. You can move those out of downtown. You can move those out of Art District. You can move anywhere else in the city of Las Vegas. However, those superstructures, You could destroy it if you really wanted, but you're looking like you're going to leave them there. Just get half the points that they would normally accrue. So that's kind of an interesting point to put out there. You got a bonus one day, you got a deficit another. The day you get a bonus, 50% of the points count. The day you get a deficit, 75% of the points count. So just keep that in mind. There is that reality. We'll see how that affects scores coming into day 6. But we do know what happened in day 5. So what happened in day 5, let's take a look at those scores for day number 5. So day number 5 will come back to our leaders. We'll go back to our official faction score. We can see where we sit right now, and then we can look at real time. So official faction score right now, Crypto Knights at 44,148.52 for second place. First place, Cypher Cyborgs, 49,704.77 points. And Purge Pirates, again, 21,434.86. That's a current standing for the official faction score. Keeping in mind that this is something that is taken at the snapshot. This was 50% of those points did count at the snapshot, counted to the overall, the official faction score. And if we go and we look at the real-time faction score, we'll see that Knights, again, 31,130.94. Cypher Cyborgs, 26,354.33. And Purge Pirates, 14,956.56. Again, this is going to continue to flow as the factions do move their assets around. They're going to have different points at different times. But again, it's that one small period of time at the snapshot where the points really matter. So the factions are moving those assets around immediately before the snapshot to get the best advantage of points. And we will see that the superstructures that were built or are in those high value areas, the high value areas from day 5, they remain in the same areas, which become radiation fallout zones for tomorrow. That's a 50% deficit in points or 50% reduction in points. District and downtown. So watch out for that tomorrow. Again, we'll be seeing more on day 6 to see if the points flip between who's getting the most points and not based on these two neighborhoods. Keep it in mind, only really counts for superstructures, doesn't quite count for any other assets. Those assets will most likely be moved out of those two areas. But it is the idea, it is that recommendation, it is that pressure from the team of Upland to keep moving those assets around. And the overall points will be determined tomorrow, will be seen tomorrow at the end of day 6. It is worth noting because we are at that point, and I think it's definitely worth taking a peek and looking at the individuals and the points that they are accumulating for their teams, the people who are really putting the scores up for their teams. And it is a lot of some of the names that we see in the game a lot, but we also see a lot of names that we don't normally see. People who are participating who may not always rank in other contests. It's kind of fun to see this a little bit, that holding the right properties and really investing in map assets for this contest really is putting people up towards the top of the list that sometimes are not, participating in other events. We do see, if we look up at the names, we see a good representation between the Cyborgs and the Knights. It's almost, if you go through a top, if we go through the top 10, there we go. That makes more sense. If we go through the top 10 spots, we're going to see that it's almost evenly distributed here. We see in first place Nerds Logic, City Pigeon second place. So we go from Cyborgs to Knights, to Your Prince, which is Purge Pirates. Then we're going to go to another Cyborg, another Knight, another Cyborg, another Knight, another Knight. So we do see that obviously more Knights in the top 10. We do see a distribution here where the top two factions obviously being represented the most here. And then the idea that it is more important to have an overall accumulation of points than it is to have individual points, which you kind of see when you go and you look at the actual overall score as of today. We are going to see this continue to jostle around, but it is those people, the top 25 of their team, who are going to be able to get that block explorer. So keep on working. The people who have been working for day 1 through day 5, day 6 and 7 still there, still opportunities to increase your points, still opportunities to earn and potentially get that block explorer. And of course, to earn your share or to lock in your share of the overall airdrop, Sparklet airdrop, if only if your team is the winner. So keep that in mind. There is a reward at the end of this war for the winning team. For those who don't win, obviously no reward for you. Let's go take a look at one more thing that we've been looking at right along, and that is the Sparklet Warz map. We'll see that we continue to see on the map. Come on. We get you zoomed in, zoomed out. On the map again, put out by myupland.info. Definitely worth pointing out that there are a number of data-driven sites in the Upland ecosystem that are done by third parties, not done by Upland, that put a lot of information out that aren't available, pieces of information that aren't available in Layer 1 Upland. These do make the gameplay, these do make the Sparklet Warz a little more exciting. They allow people to visualize and to plan and to make strategies to continue to be successful and to see what other teams are doing as well. So you can, move your strategy around. If you're not even playing, it gives you a way to kind of see what's going on at the macro view, at the 3,000-foot view, as far as ownership. And again, if you had these maps for any other reasons, you see this red as your own properties, it's a great way to visualize your city, your holdings in that city, and activities that you might want to do if you were trying to participate in other third-party games that reward you for ownership in certain neighborhoods. So something that's a little fun here, and it is definitely worth highlighting those who are putting the work in to make Upland a little more fun, a little more accessible, and to put some information out there that Upland might otherwise not be putting out. The other thing to look forward to is, again, day 6, 75% of the faction score is going to be added to the overall score. Day 7, 100%. That means between day 6 and day 7, we have the same number of points, essentially the same number of points that are going to be added to the score. Actually, more points that are added to the score than were added cumulatively between day 1 and day 5. People have had the ability to start building the superstructures. Factions have had the ability to organize and make plans and know how they're going to behave and how they're going to take advantage of that snapshot and what they're going to do. And they've been able to rally their base, the people who are less active, and get them to move their spark where they want them to move their spark. And these last 2 days are the ones that count. So 75% of the points from day 6 and then 100% of the points from day 7. Day 6 will have the fallout for the downtown, the Arch District. So that is worth continuing to note. We'll get back together tomorrow night to recap day 6 of Sparklet Warz, and we'll get a good shape or a good idea of what the overall scores are going to be. Again, day 7 definitely counts. The accumulated scores day 1 through day 6. Again, there's more points theoretically there that are going to be there on day 7. Very much going to see what the margins are at the end of day 6 to see how confident we are who the winner will be. Again, Cyborgs are in first place, the Knights in second, the Pirates in third, and we will see how things figure out tomorrow. For tonight, thank you so much for being here. We'll do this again tomorrow night, day 6, and then once more on day 7. By the time we do a day 7 recap, we'll be talking about the end of Sparklet Warz. We can have a couple takeaways, but ultimately looking at the day and congratulating the winner at that point. So for tonight, pushing tomorrow, Wednesday, we will talk about day 6. Normal programming for the Cafe Nightly Show, Monday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. PT. Looking forward to seeing you there. If you want to drop in, again, live in the Upland Discord Cafe on YouTube and on Twitter, and recorded for viewing shortly thereafter every day. Thank you so much for jumping in. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow for day 6 recap.